Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including RWBY, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Hayley Nabuurs.
Hello.
And Indy Potter.
Hi.
Yes, we are back to talk more RWBY, this time episode 5, I believe, of volume 6 of RWBY, The Coming Storm. We talk RWBY every week here at the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com or search for Overly Animated RWBY on iTunes to subscribe there, or on YouTube, youtube.com/overlyanimated to not miss any of our RWBY podcasts. We've got some good discussion going on volume 6 already, and gonna keep it going this week with a very interesting, in a lot of ways, episode of RWBY. Make sure you've seen The Coming Storm. We talk the Rooster Teeth first premieres, so make sure you've seen this Rooster Teeth first premiere. Spoilers for this whole episode and all previous episodes of RWBY. But yes, let's get into this. We got Neo, we got ships. Hayley, what did you think of The Coming Storm?
I liked it. I think it suffered, like last week did, about being kind of a shorter episode that really these two last ones could have been combined and they would have been would have amped each other up a bit more. But that being said, I think it had some great moments. I'm so happy that Neo is back and had a great fight scene with Cinder. That was super cool, and gives me hope about what Cinder's storyline is going to be if Neo's back in it. That is new and fresh, so that's cool. And we had some awesome shipping moments, which was fantastic, and some great Bumblebee. So overall positive. It was setting up stuff, but we got some interesting character development moments. So.
Nice. Yeah, definitely more of a setup episode. But okay, positive from Hayley. Andy, what do you think?
I'm pretty positive on this episode too. I just think this episode is what I imagine when I think of RWBY. There was a fight scene. There were these two ships that were just hanging out together. There was a little bit of normal RWBY nonsense of just plot that I just want stuff to move a little faster. I don't need it to sit on this house forever because I'm scared of that, Dylan.
It's been one episode.
It has, but we're at least gonna get one more at this point.
Oh yeah,
we're at least getting one more.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about that because this episode was at least fun. I at least had fun watching the pairs interact together, RWBY and Weiss and Yang and Blake, and I really think this fight was a really big step up for the team, and it was just really incredible. This fight scene was probably the best one in I think 3 seasons. It was a really good fight.
Yeah,
Bold claims.
What was the last one we said about that? Because we've said that before. Like, this was the best fight for a while. I don't remember.
This fight is better than the Raven Cinder fight, Dylan, by a lot.
Okay, that was a good one. We also really liked the first 2 minutes of the premiere, that fight sequence.
This is much better. This is this is much better than that too.
Interesting.
This is just we can talk about later, but I like this fight a lot.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm also positive on The Coming Storm. This is another good episode for what's shaping up to be the best season of RWBY ever. I mean, it's 5 episodes, so we should maybe hold off for a little bit longer. But this is 5
so far.
5 good ones in a row. I think these 5 would be better than all but 3 of the last season, and last season was a good season too, so that's a very positive sign. I mean, look, The Coming Storm, this is what I've been asking for every week for 3 years on this podcast, is this episode. We had a cool fight scene with a lyric song in the background, that's what all, and we had the two ships paired off and talking to each other. Literally, that's all I've been asking for years, and it happened. So in that regard, it was fun and very appealing. I think that there are some aspects which were maybe slightly disappointing about the one-on-one conversations we had between Blake and Yang and RWBY and Weiss. Is this the best we can hope for from RWBY and Weiss talking? I was definitely I've been waiting for them to talk one-on-one this is their first one-on-one in 2 years, 3 years, and it was disappointing. But it was I still loved it, but it was bean related, yeah. And so I mean, there's some disappointments with the dialogue specifically, I think, as usual, but this is stark improvement in the show understanding what we want to see, or at least what I want to see. I don't speak for all fans, and this episode also has kind of this horror elements underpinning, which I think was successful. I think they're building up to that very well, and I'm actually interested to see what RWBY can do with kind of these more horror elements to it next week. So, we'll see if we check in with Injure or something, but no, I don't think so. I think we'll probably continue with this again. Salem. But yeah, good stuff overall, and continuing to enjoy Volume 6. I don't know. It's kind of shocking that don't have too many complaints here. I have two things that annoyed me about the episode. One was nonsense. One is not important, and then the other one is the dialogue. But let's get into Neo coming back. I think that's our top story here. Neo is as was spoiled by the intro. Neo is back, and I think that the reveal of her being there might have had more of an impact if we didn't know she was going to be there. But maybe if you're someone that isn't following along so closely and didn't listen to the analysis of the new opening sequence, like you wouldn't have seen that people figured out it was Neo. But so maybe for more casual fans, it was a reveal, but at the very least exciting to see her back and fighting Cinder. Hayley, I know you're a big Neo fan. Like, what was your reaction to seeing her, and was it like satisfying, this first appearance she's had in a few seasons?
It was. I like audibly was like, Neo. Okay. I was so excited. Because like I said, I think it's just going to bring such an interesting new element to Cinder's storyline, because it's bringing back things from past seasons and great characters that everyone's loved. And I don't even know why I love her, but she's just like cool and I think has an interesting like fighting style and everything, and her design's great. And I think even knowing that she was going to come back at some point, I liked how they did the reveal of her, because like as soon as you saw the umbrella, you knew. But if you just see the shoes and then it pans up, I think that was very effective. And I love as well that when they brought her back, it wasn't just like they were staring each other down in an alleyway and it was dramatic and nothing really happened. Instead, it was immediately like go time fight scene, which was, I think, a great introduction to the character. So I'm just so excited that she's back and is presumably going to be back in not just like a very casual role. I think she's going to be part of Cinder's storyline, which I assume is going to have some screen time. So we're probably going to see her a bit more, which is cool. So maybe part of the main reintroduction.
Yeah, nice, great reintroduction. Maybe part of the main cast this season with Neo. We'll see how long she sticks around for.
If Cinder's part of the main, like I assume they'll be operating together as a team. So when we see Cinder, we'll probably see Neo. So
I hope so. Yeah, that's
right.
I mean, they're fighting, but then Cinder at least proposes that they work together. Then we'll see how Neo
common enemy
reacts to that. Yeah. Andy, what do you think of Neo's reintroduction here?
I really liked it. I really, really, really liked it. RWBY does this thing that's very common in anime and manga a lot of time, where they'll end an episode or chapter on a reveal, on someone stepping in. And I don't think that's actually good most of the time, unless it's a really big reveal. Like, this seems like something that they would have done, like, oh, the episode ends and Neo walks out from the shadows or something. Like, this is much better than that. Just have Neo come back. We know her already. We don't need a reveal for it. Just have her come back, have her fight Cinder, and it keeps the energy high instead of just... Like, we're going to watch next week. We don't need hooks like that in this show. Like, that's more what I'm getting at. It seems like a useless hook. If it's going to be give us cliffhangers that actually have meaning. Like, give us reveals. Like, Jin, as horrible as Jin was, like, as much as I don't like Jin's model, like, the story thing, that was a good cliffhanger. That was a great cliffhanger.
So Neo, and the point is Neo's in and off to the races away.
Sorry, yes. I'm getting off topic. The point is that I like just having her show up and just immediately going. Nice. The fight is incredible.
Keep the action high.
Yeah, and of course, like you said, Dylan, the song is great behind Neo's actions. Like, it's clearly sung about her.
Yeah, I haven't had time to delve into that too much about the point of view of the song a few hours after. But
all I heard is that it was about revenge, and it's about revenge and stuff like that.
Yeah, revenge for Roman, probably. What we're getting at from Neo's perspective. That's very, very cool. Yeah, this was. I think that the big thing about this fight scene is we get into that. By the way, Neo's back, and the fans love Neo. Neo's like the most popular character in the fandom. And I think it's because she's a cool design and is like this mysterious presence. But I haven't been the most attached to Neo, but it's still really cool to see her back. And this is another big aspect of like why the coming storm is like this episode about like giving the fans what they want. Like, Neo's here, like they've been asking. RWBY subreddit constantly has
Like
Neo
the most
art
fan
at the
service ever.
front page for the past 3 years by the fact she hasn't been on the show. But yeah, here she is, and this is a big reintroduction for Neo. I think the big thing with this fight scene is the freneticness of it. That's what we always talk about with, that's the big talking point. It's like RWBY originally had these really frenetic, high energy fights that move very fast, and then post Monty, they slowed down a little bit, haven't captured that energy. To what extent that's true or not, that's generally the fandom discourse about the RWBY fights. And I would say this is feels like a classic Monty fight. This Neo versus Cinder. Like the energy is very high, moving very fast here.
I think if you sent this fight scene back 4 years ago, back towards season 1 or 2, if you just show me the bars, when they're on top of the bar fighting, that just screams something Monty would do. That just is an incredible fight scene, part of the fight. That is just, I think, one of the best things I've animated. It's just so good. When Neo clicks up that cigarette holder and just throws it at her, or bowl or whatever, that whole thing is great.
Yeah.
They're using the setting really interestingly.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, it absolutely feels like a Monty fight scene. It definitely inspired but by his previous work. And yeah, using those bowls, I think, on top of the bar was definitely the highlight for me as well. It just it felt it had such an impact on the setting and the energy, and they're quickly gone, and the use of Neo's umbrella parcel, she's like Princess Peach floating down several times, and it's all really fun, and it captures the energy, I think, of what we want from RWBY fights in a way. I feel like we've said this about a previous fight scene. They've been getting better at this. It's not like this is a stark difference. A lot of the previous fight scenes have been great. I think the beginning of episode 1 is notable for different reasons, just the cinematography and stuff like that is the gorgeousness of how it's shot. And this fight scene shines in a different way, and how high energy and fast paced, and use of the environment and stuff, and the song behind it. So I think we've had multiple different types of successful fight scenes here. And this one in particular, it's this is prime Volume 2 Neo, right back at us in terms of how she's fighting. So, it's so incredible. That's a great omen for RWBY, recapturing past things we loved about the show while also improving on things that were all about volumes 1 and 2. That's always what we've been hoping for from the show. Get back what we loved. And of course, it wasn't a perfect show at first either. So then more high level narrative, better animation and stuff like that. And I do think this season's kind of all coming together in terms of that to a degree which, the previous two had not. But yeah, the parts of this fight scene, they're inside, and I guess the setup is that little Miss Malachite is back. I don't think we're gonna.
Oh my god,
she was fine here, right?
Yeah.
But can she just go away for good now?
Right.
If she's gone, that's a waste of a character. I feel like this is the whole point of the Spider Intelligence Network is to
Dylan,
I guess.
RWBY would waste a character. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's whatever. And the Team Purple, they're coming back. I mean, they have to. But they tell Cinder Team RWBY's headed to Atlas, and they know she's Cinder. And then we learn that the person looking for Cinder was Neo, or also was looking for Team RWBY. I don't remember. Whatever.
I thought she said there was a big man who was looking for Team RWBY.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we also knew Hazel was after them too. We haven't followed up on that yet. So
there's.
So I think maybe 3 people contacted them, Neo looking for Cinder, Hazel looking for RWBY, and Cinder looking for RWBY. I think that might
guess.
Be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Neo's there, the pan up thing, the song, everything inside, and then they take it outside. We get Neo doing an illusion. Cinder says, "I didn't kill your boss. Take it up with Little Red." Then Cinder goes all Avatar state with the wooden powers, and let's discuss how we kill her together. Let's talk, says Cinder. But Neo, of course, Neo has Roman's hat. That does seem to be her motivation, as we speculated before, that she blames Cinder for Roman's death. Neo, by the way, I think slightly updated her model. The new show here, her eyeshadow seemed more prominent to me. That was one thing. Although that existed before. I thought she looked great. And, with the hat, that was really cool. The umbrella, everything there. So, what do we think of Neo's motivation here? What do we think of attacking Cinder, blaming Cinder for the death? Does it work so many years later? Hayley, what do you think about that?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't have much memory of why she was upset at Cinder at first.
It's because it was like 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what happened between them? I think it was fine for justifying this fight scene because they're both kind of, I assume, hot-headed kind of characters. At least Cinder is, and maybe Neo is too. We don't really know that much about her, except that she's cool. Yeah, it didn't seem so ridiculous to me that would be her motivation to instigate this fight, if that makes any sense. And I like, though, that it didn't go beyond this interaction, that Cinder's able to tell her, hey, let's work together and get the real person. So I believed it. It's fine.
But it isn't RWBY, though. It was a Grimm ate Roman, and all the Grimm were summoned by Cinder.
Yeah, but Cinder's manipulative.
Do you think Cinder thinks she's telling the truth or lying to Neo? I feel like Cinder believes what she's saying.
Yeah, I think she believes that all of her problems and all the problems in the world go back to RWBY.
Yeah.
So of course it's RWBY's fault.
Yeah, I think the show's made that pretty clear. So
yeah.
Andy, what's Neo been up to for the past few years?
She was just looking for Roman's hat
the whole time.
Oh, so she found the hat and now she's moving on to Cinder.
She needed the reveal to be good. She needed to make sure that everyone understood what she was talking about or what she wanted.
Yeah,
she's been preparing this like pan-up shot for 3 years.
Exactly.
What can be my most dramatic entrance with Cinder? Yeah, she's been trying to track down Cinder, I guess. She's healing from something.
Living her life.
I buy that she might have been looking for Cinder, and Cinder was in Salem's domain, so Neo had no idea where she was.
Yeah, she definitely wouldn't have been able to find her for a long time, yeah.
I buy that, and I don't think we need more than that. Like, I don't really need a Neo alone episode. This is fine.
Yeah, it's okay. Neo was never the character with the most going on, so having her just show up again, I think is fine. This is the danger of bringing characters in and out, as we talked about in a previous podcast this season. This show brings characters in and out within seasons, like season to season more than any we cover. And the danger here is that we've lost all thread of Neo, really, and she's not much just beyond what surface level she presents again in this episode. But with this character, who's all flash and no substance, and that's not a bad thing. I think this is the most flashy character, and
it's kind of what her character is.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
the purpose she serves in the show, really.
Right. So you don't need to bring her back because she doesn't have that depth to her. So I think that's fine. But when the danger is if you try to bring Sun back in 2 seasons, that might be less successful.
But Dylan, why do they do this for Neo but not for Tyrion?
Well, you wanted Tyrion to get this epic reintroduction?
Tyrion,
at least for his tail. Clearly they know what we want, and clearly they set it up, and Tyrion got nothing. But
I would say that the fandom is not completely on board with Tyrion's tail as you are. I don't think that they're as ravenous for the tail.
Why?
They like Neo. The tail's not as big of a deal. Although people do talk about the tail, so it moves well of comments. We'll talk about the tail at the end. But
will we? Why?
for no apparent reason. But yeah, Neo. I think this worked with Neo, and it was great. Neo still appears to be mute. That the show hasn't really, I don't think, specifically commented on that ever. But
Neo pointed at her throat when Cinder said they should talk.
I feel like she's missing a tongue or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Cinder said, "Hey, talk now," and Neo pointed at her throat, and then Cinder went, "Right."
Yeah, I think at some point we'll probably need some backstory on why she's mute, but at the same time, and I mean, if she's gonna be if she's tag team with Cinder and in every other episode this season, that's gonna be the most Neo's ever been in the show. So we would need to expand on her character because she really hasn't been that big of a presence until now. She's more just showed up sometimes to fight and to look cool and drive to be the getaway driver that one time, change designs. Yeah, will we see her? She's kind of the dress up doll for the show.
God,
will we see her in different outfits again? Probably. That's I guess the purpose of her.
If there's any god in the world, they'll get winter coats, but they won't.
Yeah, no.
hold that thought. But that would defeat the purpose of Neo. This is basically fan service. But really not the great.
Good. I like it. It was fun.
Well, everyone likes it. Yeah, it's a fun use of the character. In this show, it feels normal, I think. But anyway, she was good here. Do we think that she will accept Cinder's terms and say team up with her and try to get to RWBY? It would probably be logical, I guess. She was previously working under Roman, who's working under Cinder. So what else is she gonna do? Just like, why there's not, I feel like the basis for attacking Cinder, like, yeah, maybe Cinder is ultimately responsible for Umlin's death, but Cinder's all kind of Neo has to our knowledge. Like, maybe she goes try to track down, Emerald and Mercury, but, this is, we don't know of any other connections she has, so it feels natural that she'd team up with Cinder.
Yeah, I buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
She could also, just reject her, though. I mean, and it would also make sense. So
she could also just find Ruby and then double cross Cinder once she finds Ruby or something.
Oh, that's definitely on the table. Yeah,
join Salem if Cinder doesn't join Salem, maybe.
Okay, so she could team up with Salem for sure. I also like this notion of using Cinder to take out Ruby, but then double cross.
Yeah,
Cinder,
I think that's completely possible. I don't think Neo would have gotten over whatever anger she's apparently harbored for years for Cinder.
Yeah, I think that if next time we see them, they're just all peachy and seem to have things wrapped up, then we should know that this is going to come back at some point later this season.
Yeah,
Neo's anger at Cinder. So yeah, okay, so that's the beginning fight stuff. Definitely more of our action stuff in the beginning, which is kind of an interesting episode structure. It then leaves us with this kind of horror elements at the farmhouse they go to with Team RWBY. That's the rest of our episode here. We start outside the main house, because there's multiple houses, and they're cold and weirded out that the farmhouse is so intact. I guess because Grimm overran everything else. So they're cold outside. Weiss throughout this episode is cold. I just want to get the rant of the week out already, because this really isn't that big of a deal. So just take it. I'm being mostly silly here, but it's stupid that Weiss is so cold in this episode, because previously we have used the excuse of auras for why we should have still revealing outfits for the leads while they are in a winter setting. Like they changed outfits a little bit to accommodate, but they're still like midriff and exposed body parts in like this in snow, and it's like, oh,
Abs
auras
don't feel the temperature, Dylan.
Yeah, well, auras protect you from the cold. That's what we've heard. So why is it's a pretty obvious question. Why are they cold here? If auras protect them from the cold, yeah. We're getting to auras, and I hate talking about that, but it doesn't make any sense that I guess the explanation is it's really cold, so that's why
But Weiss is also from Atlas, which is literally the Arctic.
You think she would be used to it? I guess she doesn't go outside, and just stays in the mansion. But yeah,
I think they were like, how can we move the plot forward? Cold weather discussion.
It makes things like this, whenever you circumvent the little basis you have for auras already, it just is very frustrating. So it's like, oh, this is like the most stupid thing that they're cold when the auras are supposed to protect them from that.
See, I would be more upset about it. Well, no, okay. Let me rephrase this. If they dressed like they did and then didn't talk about, oh, it's so cold, fine, whatever, it's auras, but it's because they keep talking about how cold it is and making no effort to fix it that is driving me nuts. Like,
at least say like, oh, it's too cold for our auras to account for this or something.
If it's like really cold or really hot, or like the weather is bad, like if that drains your aura, why don't you like wear thicker clothes so you don't drain your aura on this stupid stuff?
Or like Blake and Yang have these big tails on their vesty things that I saw as they were walking outside, and it's like, you could wrap those around your belly and you're good to go. But no.
Yeah, like Weiss gets a blanket, but no attempt to change outfits here. We'd have to redo the assets.
Keep complaining.
So we can't do that. But this is tell me in the comments if you're also frustrated by this, or if you have a better explanation other than it's really cold, because I would honestly like to know.
If the explanation is just aura, like, I don't think we could read that though, Dylan. We can't do that.
No.
Yeah, but aura is aura is the foundation of my frustrations, in terms of like, there's an explanation that they gave with aura that the show has told us about, and now we don't care about that. Anyway, it's really cold. So, we're in the house, and Weiss finds dead bodies in the bed, and we learn later that there's, these dead bodies in all of the beds. So we have kind of like this horror mystery that, we don't get resolved from this episode. I guess we can talk about that first, in terms of like how the episode handles these horror elements and like what's going on with the story. It's like the whole estate just went to sleep and never woke up. We got, my biggest, read on the episode in terms of obvious foreshadowing is characters saying that they are tired. Weiss and Yang both notably say that they are tired here. Weiss, you could argue, acts different from normal based on her being tired. I actually think what Weiss is saying was rational. So I'm not clear if we were meant to, like, when she gets into that whole, why are we going to Atlas again? And she's like, oh, never mind, I'm just tired. Like, I don't know if that was meant to, like, be, oh, she's acting crazy because she's getting affected by something, but like.
No, I'm also like, why are we going to Atlas again?
But I think whatever it's doing this is making them find reasons to not leave. Like, whatever it is. That's what it seems to be. In that
so you think it's one of those things where the house doesn't want them to leave, yeah.
Yeah, like they're, or whatever is doing this. Yeah, it's like making them tired, so they're finding reasons to stay.
Interesting. An episode of Hilda did that this year. The house doesn't want them to leave. Huh. But it's like a horror trope, I guess. But yeah. Hayley, what did you find the episode creepy? What did you think of this new kind of horror tone to RWBY in this episode?
I think it was effective. I didn't find it that, like, it wasn't like so scary. Oh no, jump scares are going to happen or anything. But I think it was effective in setting up what's going to come. And good for this show too, because they were actually pretty subtle about it. It wasn't as heavy-handed as it could have been, which was nice. Like, it was just kind of like a slow moving forward. It's getting kind of creepy. And I think the setting fit that as well. So yeah.
Nice, yeah, and then at the end, the obviously the wine cellar door is opening, and so that's the cliffhanger we get. I couldn't tell if it was like opening and then shut, or if it opened. But I think RWBY and Weiss did not notice; they were walking away.
Yeah.
No.
Andy, what's your theory on what's going on here?
I think the thing in the wine cellar is a red herring. I think that whatever's in there is not what's hurting everybody, but it has to be a Grimm we haven't seen before. They really like adding these like weird Grimm into the season, and I think we're gonna get some kind of like energy or, God forbid, aura draining Grimm or something.
Extendo arms comes back.
No, please no. Please no. I can only handle so much extendo arms in my life.
And I guess the other thing is that Blake speculated that the well was poison or something. That's how everyone might have simultaneously died. That was, like, I think, smart by Blake. But yeah,
no. Blake clearly is probably is definitely the smartest person in Team RWBY, because she actually puts forward real reasons for what could be happening.
And then the show does not back that up. But
the show just ignores it.
So you think it's so grim, a new Grimm we haven't seen?
Yeah, that's what my guess would be. Like, and I hope it has a cool design, but that's what I think.
Okay. And so you don't think it's actually coming out of the cellar? That was just
No, I think that might be someone who survived the previous.
Okay, there could be that too. One of we have to account for all the people in the photo that we saw. Crow saw them, we didn't see them, so someone still could be out there. Hayley, what's your reaction to hearing that it could be a Grimm? Would you like that?
I think that's the most obvious thing, because like everything evil is a Grimm in the show, really. Yeah. I think that's probably the most likely scenario, but I think it would also be interesting and moving this kind of season storyline forward if it was something relating to the Salem Ozpin storyline in some way. I don't know what it would be, but something relating to that might be neat, rather than just having it be another Grimm, even if it's a cool, like, different form of Grimm. Change it up a little bit.
I think what could do it, Hayley, is like, even if it is a Grimm, even if it is not like it's just more of the same, what could be the thing that pushes this forward is that maybe the Grimm, this is like a more aggressive Grimm. Like, this didn't attack some people with like bad emotions, it seems like.
It's intelligent.
And so what that means is that maybe that pushes our heroes to be like, hey, we do still have to stop Salem because the Grimm are getting worse. The Grimm are getting much, much, much worse. And they kept hammering that on at the beginning of the season too. Like, maybe that's our impetus for still going after Salem now, even though we don't think we can kill her.
I'm also wondering, too, because we saw that family or farm photo in the house, right? And I feel like their outfits were pretty old compared to what, like, our people are wearing. Like, they had bonnets and aprons and everything else. So maybe this is actually something that happened a really long time ago, relatively long time ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I agree that it kind of gives that old timey type vibe, but I've also seen some speculation that
they're like mummified, kind of.
Right. So the bodies don't seem, they're not like decomposed, so they're either mummified or it wasn't that long ago that they died. So it could have actually been recent, unless somehow they're preserved. Yeah, I'm not happy at the prospect of this being a Grimm because what Hayley said, everything on the show is just a stupid Grimm. Like, let's get something more interesting than if it does like tie into Salem, or maybe it's like a smart Grimm or something. Like maybe that could be cool. But I would be happier with like maybe a human or maybe some other source of magic or something. But
it's Silver Eyes, Dylan.
Silver Eyes.
It would make sense to relate to Silver Eyes because, you know, we got Maria here still doing nothing. And like, clearly Maria is gonna find Oscar a story. That's what she did in this episode.
Do you think Maria is related to this family?
That's possible. Maybe Maria's causing what's happening somehow, and she's leading them to the farmhouse to
that'd be
kill
good.
them.
And she's like, that'd be a really good horror trope too.
Yeah.
And
she wanted to set them up this whole time. Turns out she's like this Grimm in disguise or something.
No, that would be great because we wouldn't have felt the setup because it happened not during the horror episode. That'd be really great, actually.
That would be a very long-term plan. Meeting them on the train, follow them. Well, she could have been follow them onto the train, and then once it like try to maybe she drew the Grimm that attacked them there, and it wasn't actually the thing. So that, like, it was at that specific moments that they would like land at that location and then go to the nearest farmhouse. It seems like an intricate.
She's trying to like harvest Ruby's silver eye powers for herself. Maybe.
Ooh, yeah, maybe she's like a Silver Eyes, but a villain Silver Eyes.
Yeah.
That could be cool. Anyway, all of that's more interesting to me than a random Grimm. So we'll see though. At the very least, it's interesting. Like I like that the show is doing new genre things. I think that's really cool. I mean, the show has done horror-ish stuff with the Grimm before, but it's mainly been like action survival versus like
they're taking their time with this.
Yeah, it's like patient horror setup that's going on here. So I like that.
This is the first time I've actually been scared of if this is a Grimm. Like, I'm scared of it. Like, I wasn't scared of the Knucklebee, even if it felt intimidating.
How dare you?
This is actually, like, I understand why people in the world are scared of Grimm, finally.
If it's like killing all of them simultaneously while sleeping, yeah. Oh, and we should note that this relates to them being tired somehow. So I think that the magic needs to be involved. Them sleeping, like the like whatever it is wants them to sleep, and then it gets them there. Maybe it's like a nightmare creature. There was an episode of Sabrina this season where it's like a demon that went into their nightmares and like that. But yeah, I could see that happening too.
Also of note, though, Rooster Teeth has produced a show all about if you fall asleep, you die. And so they've done that kind of thing before. So I'm not sure if they do it again. They might do the exact same thing again. I'm not sure.
Oh, you're not sure if it means they'd be more or less likely to do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, noted. There's a ton of interesting possibilities here. Yeah, let us know which of those you like. Do you have a different theory in the comments for what this could be? Hopefully we'll find out next week. But other than Maria telling Oscar's story, which I assume will be followed up on because that was random, we get these are shipping moments. We get Yang and Blake and Ruby and Weiss pairing off and talking individually. Credit to this episode, when I saw the preview they put out, in our Discord, I was like, this is prime opportunity to have one-on-one conversations. Like, they're alone in this old house, like, please. And then the show does it. So I think that's a rare instance of it's like setting something up that could be cool, instantly following through on it. Like, it's good stuff here. Blake and Yang are is that their ship name? Are searching for obviously
Blang and Yake.
Blang. That's a good.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Blang is a good. No, Bumblebee's much better. Obviously, we mentioned the Bumblebee motorcycle. It's going to they're going to hook the flatbed up to that. That's how they're going to out of there. I assume that will not happen because they're going to be stuck at the place. But that's their plan. Yeah, they're looking for vehicles, and we get this conversation. Yang's tired, as mentioned. Yang has this vision of Adam. We saw Blake having the Adam vision as well in episode 1, and still gets flashes from that night. Blake says Adam gets power from power from control, wanted to pull Blake down to his size. And then the important stuff, grabs Blake, holds Yang's robo hand, and says, hey, I'm not leaving, and if we ever see him again, I promise I'll be there. I'll protect you. And Yang was into the first part of that, and then when she said, I'll protect you, got upset. And basically just walks away after that. So more of this, it seems like we're really going to lean into the Bumblebee drama this season. We had a nice moment, but then quickly, subverted into, some more angst, Bumblebee angst. Hayley, were you digging what we got from Bumblebee here?
I didn't totally understand the whole, like, flip to being, oh, I don't want you to protect me reaction, basically. I don't really know where that came from because it was random. because obviously Blake knows that Yang can fight, and she's not saying that she can't, but she is, I don't know. Maybe it's Yang is like under the spell of this Grimm and is reacting oddly.
Yep.
I don't know. But I thought that didn't really resonate with me because I didn't really see the logic in her reaction there. But prior to that, I loved it. It was great. I'm so happy as well that they didn't just go like Yang saying, "Oh, I'm just tired," and then end the scene there. Like they kept talking and shared things with each other, which is really great. Because I could definitely see them just ending the scene and then like, okay, whatever. Not really much of a Bumblebee scene, but it was, and they had an interaction and they discussed Adam, which never like Adam to be brought up, but I feel like this is a decently effective way of bringing him up if they really need to, because Yang having like PTSD from that experience is not it's not unwarranted. Yeah, so but I really like that Blake is there for her, and also the whole Bumblebee being the name of the bike is hilarious too.
Yeah, we got reminded of that.
No, they actually had a conversation for more than a minute. So and like cute little hand holding and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, they hold hands. That's the most important part.
That's big. Huge.
Yeah, they have shared trauma in Adam, so I think it's definitely an important thing for them to discuss here. And I think this was like the more successful of the two conversations. Like what we get into with Adam, maybe it's not in too much depth, but this was an important thing for them to talk about. And it's also like shared trauma because Yang was like helping Blake or something. Like Yang like gets like Yang gets like on the crosshairs of Blake's past drama situation. And yeah, Andy, what did you like the Yang getting upset at the "I'll protect you" any more than Hayley did?
I didn't get upset with it. I was a little confused by it the first time I watched it, and then when I rewatched the episode, I went back and kind of looked through the stuff from season 4 because I forgot a lot of season 4, and I remembered that a lot of the stuff she was dealing with and a lot of the trauma there was about the fact that she couldn't do anything for herself. That was the whole like root of her character. Then. Like, she wants to prove that she can do stuff. Even though she lost her arm, she can still keep going. And, of course, that trauma was not helped by the fact that her dad gave a really, really bad speech about just moving forward past your trauma. And I think that this is just confirmation that she has not moved past it, which I appreciate, because this is realistically, this is something that she's going to have to live with her for her entire life. And I'm kind of glad that we're doing that. I think that the show could have done better of reminding us of her having this, because it kind of just forgot about it for a season. But if looking at season 4, this does feel like the correct through line for her emotions towards this whole situation.
Nice. Good call. Remembering what happened in season 4, because we would have gotten corrected on that. I would not have remembered. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember either. I had to go back and watch it.
There was also the bit in the train, I think it was, like in the first episode where Blake was trying to grab.
Oh yeah, trying to help with the luggage. Yeah.
And Yang wasn't for that, but yeah.
Okay, that scene makes more sense too now with Andy's.
Yeah, I think it like you can find a way of it making sense, and I think it's partially Yang's character as well, that she's very independent and needs to, I think, feel like she's in control of herself and situations and things. But after like this cute moment where she's showing like that she's going to be there for her and that like basically I love you, and Blake saying that she'll protect her is not unwarranted. I don't know. Yeah, I think yeah.
I believe completely, because she had this whole, like, she was completely independent before all this stuff with Adam, and she feels like she lost all that independence when she got hurt. And it's just like, I think she just is really scared of becoming dependent on somebody again.
Yes, so I guess the intent, because Blake literally grasps her robot hand, or the result of her disability here, and says, "I'll protect you." Like, so it implies, in Yang's mind, that's implying that she's weak and needs protecting based off of this injury.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot better now that we've talked about it. I wish the show gave moments like this a little bit more time to breathe. Like, I think this is a good concept. And it happened kind of fast, and it's also referencing a character arc that was 2 seasons ago. But still, I guess that's still successful. Yeah. But in general, I think, more with the RWBY and Weiss conversation, I'm like needs improvement, but this as well, I feel like could have been a little more delved into a little bit more. Hopefully, it's not done yet though, so maybe more to come. With the two of them.
And if there's confirmation that like there's a grim affecting emotions, it might come off a little better depending on how we do it.
Right, Yang and Weiss both say things that are interpreted badly by the other person or the audience or something.
And the conversation's feels a little stilted and not in the normal RWBY way. In my opinion.
Yeah. So I think there's probably that. My read is that there's something happening with the horror thing here. At the same time, with still a good conversation. Okay, now we have a through line of the themes we're getting into this season with the two of them. I also think like the hand thing. I think it's like very clear that the show actually is intending to do romance with these two characters. Whereas I think RWBY and Weiss, despite their prominence in the intro and some stuff this season, that's still like not clear to me that that's what we're doing with the two of them. Based on like we didn't do anything this episode with them. Yeah. But Blake and Yang, I think like I genuinely buy the show is just doing the super slow burn with Bumblebee. Maybe,
wow. Well, the handhold is pretty romantic.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big moment for the show. I think. And I think that they're gonna pay it off to some extent this season. It's not just because Barbara is going around saying, or Aaron saying that Yang loves Blake or something, but it's Blake loves Yang. Yeah, I think like I think we're building to. I'm not buying that they're gonna like start dating after this season, but I think that we're genuinely moving to a point with these two characters, and I think the show's like I disagree that it should be this much of a slow burn, but I think given that it is, the show's been doing a good job of it.
I'm really concerned, Dylan, though, that the thing that pushes them into a relationship is going to be somehow related to Adam, because this is still the quote unquote Adam season. Because I'm scared I don't think they understand how problematic that is. Having them like deal with Adam and then be like, oh, we can be together now or something.
Yeah, I mean,
if they conquer him together.
That could be fine. That's like, yeah. I mean, it'd be great if it wasn't related to Adam at all. But yeah, if they kill him together and they're together,
they kiss over his dead body,
and they kiss over his dead body. That would be not happening, but that would be fantastic. Yeah, it's this season of Adam thing. We haven't seen him since the first episode.
Yeah.
We've only seen flashes of him.
But based on them bonding over this, like having flashbacks to him, I could totally see the end game of that, maybe not this season, but next season, being them taking him out together.
I think it has to be this season. It has to be.
It should be this season, because that would be a really long time to wait. Yeah. But
last year we said Adam's definitely dying this season.
Yeah, true.
I think Adam's number one on your death watch for this year. I think this is the end of the three season season thing, and Adam was prominent in this is like the ramifications of him at the end of the first season 3-season thing. So yeah, I think he's likely to show up towards the finale, and then like that's probably your expected story arc here. Adam to some extent comes back, Blake and Yang conquer him together. He's off the show. Maybe that relates to Miles's sad day when you have to kill your faves tweet, like it was about Adam. And
please.
And then we get some sort of culmination of them together, even if it's just them conquering Adam together. Some sort of romantic thing happening.
That'd be the best way to end his storyline, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a fodder for the Bumblebee.
The Bumblebee.
Yeah, to grow into the future. Yeah. So yeah, good, continually good stuff from Blake and Yang here. Looking forward to seeing how it's approached next episode. I'm not expecting too much immediately. This was a big thing. Probably some cool off now, and then get back into it later. RWBY and Weiss, on the other hand, also have some time together. We get sad-looking Weiss in a blanket going up to RWBY, and then RWBY smiling. That's like the most romance I feel like we saw was RWBY smiling at Blake looking sad. So here's the thing. First, I enjoyed their let me start preface by saying I enjoyed their interactions this episode. I'm very happy that they're together. I'll take what I can get, but it's I've been waiting for them to talk one-on-one for 3 years now, 2 to 3 years, and this is the first line of dialogue we get when they're one-on-one. Food always makes me feel better. Just saying. Like, I don't get it. Why?
But I think that's a very RWBY line, Dylan. I think that's what RWBY would say.
Yeah, it's because they've made RWBY say stuff like this always. So yeah, I agree. But she can say things other than this. It's just, the RWBY and Weiss dialogue is just so underwritten in this episode. I think in general, the dialogue in the show is underwritten, which is why like it thrived in a context with the origin myth where underwritten is good. But there just needs to be more substance here. This is just placeholder dialogue. I really think this is like the biggest thing holding the writing back on this show is stuff like this. Like, food always makes me feel better just saying. I guess it relates to the bean thing later, but then there's just nothing there. Like, put some substance into their interactions. I think it would be a lot better.
I think it's also Ruby's trying to, she doesn't know how to make Weiss feel better, so she's going with that. But it's not great.
Why can't they talk about whatever's between them too? It kind of makes sense with the characters and where they're at, and any sort of awkwardness or lightness that they're not going for the trauma with these two. They're going for
Ruby isn't as much angst.
Yeah, they're not going. This isn't the angsty one. This is the happy one. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing they say here is interesting. That's the unfortunate part.
There's no hand holding.
Weiss, that'd be fantastic. Weiss lights all the candles in this room.
So she's the full maiden, right?
Is that how that works?
Yeah, right?
She basically has maiden powers with her weapon.
If you have enough dust, you could just be a maiden.
Isn't that how that works? Dust is magical remnants of previous humanity now. So
The more we talk about it, the more it seems right.
It seems, I think so. Yeah, the richer you are with the more dust, you can just be a maiden if you really have enough money. That's that's
how it works.
Ruby's worried about Crow. I didn't like this dialogue either. Talk about Weiss. Don't talk about stupid Crow here. I mean, I agree. It's a good point to bring up his alcoholism when you find a bar, but just talk about Weiss. And then Weiss is sad and asks why they're going Atlas, and Ruby's like, what? You can't be serious. And Weiss like, oh, I'm just really tired. I'm not sure what the intended audience reaction here is supposed to be, because again, it could be the effects of Grimm, but Weiss is right.
Yes.
So I don't get it. Why did Ruby react like that? I mean, I guess Ruby's we need to have some motivation to do something. We can't just give up. So I get, but it could have been, we could dive into, if that's the thing, it's in terms of motivation and having any sort of agency in what's happening and wanting to uphold that notion, then we could have dived into that more, than just this. But I think it felt weird.
If the show transfers to Ruby just being the drive for the entire crew, though, isn't that good, Dylan?
That's good. That's good if Ruby is leading them. Yes. So I do
that's
like
a good
that.
shift.
Yeah. Okay. I'll accept that. But it's Weiss. We get to the canned food thing. Weiss is scoffing at them having to eat canned food. Well, I guess it's better than nothing. And Ruby smiles at her. There's another good moment. Really, Ruby smiling is the only sort of romantic connotation we get out of the two of them interaction here. Good, reminder that Weiss is rich and she doesn't eat peasant, okay, sure, whatever.
She doesn't eat peasant.
Peasant food, yeah. Whatever. The bean thing, we get the anime thing with Ruby, right? That was that's another classic that we've been going to. I feel like Ruby's character, we don't need to dive into this. This is a whole another 20-minute discussion. I think Ruby's character hasn't been written too well the past few seasons. We kind of just rely on these anime humor moments, and there's not a lot of substance to what's going on there. Yeah,
I think she was better in episode 2 because she was finally doing things, but a lot of times she just does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least she's the focus, and I do like that she'd be the drive. I'd love to dive into something with Ruby here. It doesn't need to be angsty, we can dive into happy character stuff, or
That said, it was nice last season when we got to dive into her actually feeling bad about Penny and Pyrrha dying, because we needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
I want her to have more emotions, because I think it was good in episode 2 where she got angry, and it was she's not just happy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see if anyone else has different reads on what's going on here with Ruby or Ruby and Weiss. What's the intended thing that they're going for here? Let us know in the comments. And then at the end, this outdoor is opening. So Ruby and Weiss tying into the investigation on the horror elements here. We get their moments. Would love for this to continue next episode. Maybe we'll be open and they're still talking because they're still walking away together. I don't know. I assume that won't happen, but at the same time. Other thing, by the way, very important here. I didn't mention this. Blake puts a blanket on Weiss. It's Blake that does that.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ruby's cape for a second. I got very excited.
I know, yeah.
I really I think this is the most subtle writing they've been doing all season, is that Blake is really trying hard to interact with everybody in Team Ruby. She tried to talk to Ruby earlier in the episode. She gave Weiss the blanket. She tried to help Yang with her luggage. It's really clear that Blake is trying to make up for lost time. And I like that they're not commenting on it. It's just kind of happening in the background.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I of course reacted to this like monochrome, but yeah, I think that what they're going for is what Andy said. Yeah, monochrome was like one of the original, except for Bumblebee and White Rose, that was like the original like prominent ship, and with all the drama between them in season 1 and stuff, and it's definitely been on the back burner. So seeing them interact there is pretty interesting. That would be an interesting pairing to explore more. But let's do more with the two that we did here. Let's do that. Let's get more conversation going here. So yeah, that's all we hit on in this episode here. Hayley, anything else or final thoughts on the episode?
No, I'm just so happy the season is good. So yeah,
Wow,
it's been really solid so far, and that we're actually having things like having Neo come back and having all of our ships happening, and it seems like things are going well. And we also haven't had like a Adam or Ranger Flash podcast, so that's good. I don't know how long that's going to last, but we've said this every week, and then it continues strong. So I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, good so far.
Good so far. No Adam, no John. We're happy.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, like, decent writing and neat sets and good fights. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Andy, final thoughts here.
Just that I'm happy. The show is doing well. The show is focusing on the characters we actually care about. And I don't know. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. The concept of just focusing on Team RWBY and letting the B plot be everybody else. Like, I like that. Like, let all the A plots just be Team RWBY, and sometimes like cut away to Cinder, cut away to, like, I'm fine. Like, I don't like John. I mean, I don't like John, but the problem with John was never that I don't like him. It's that he was the focus of the show for way too long. Like, if they cut away to Team Inger now for like part of a B plot, that's fine at this point. That's fine if we just see like, oh, the train got to Atlas and we see Atlas for a second or something. Like, or not Atlas, Argus. Like, that's fine because we've actually shown that Team RWBY are the main characters. So I'm pretty high on this season right now.
Nice. Yeah. The season so far, A, RWBY, B, in terms of plots, B, Cinder, and C is Salem's. Like, that's kind of just all we've been hoping for.
Stellar.
Yeah. So it's a like much, compare this to Volume 4 where we're like, what is any of this? You know, this is like a structure that I think is much more conducive to the high quality we've been getting here. So yes, great stuff so far from the season. I think maybe more subdued, boring podcasting when the show is good, but
yeah, I know. There's no rants. Like, I'm just chill about it.
There's a minor rant here. Well, yeah, okay. And speaking of, in the Ombudsman corner this week, none of you correct the corner where we correct what we got wrong last week. No one in the comments actually corrected us on anything factual, but Michael in our Discord, patron Michael, says that Andy got the context wrong for Tyrion's tale.
I can't believe I'm wrong, Dylan.
So from Volume 5. So here's the context in episode 2 of Season 5. Salem says, not you, Arthur. Tyrion is in need of a new tale. Watts, it will be done. Okay. And then in episode 9, 2 children are disgraced Elysian scientists, a fall maiden with ignomania. Technically, I was also a doctor. Later, fly back home and tinker with your machine. So implying that's that section implying that Watts will give a mechanical tale to Tyrion. So that is the context of
the context much more clear when like you actually look at the text. Like, it's not subtext; it's just the text.
Yeah, no, they say he's going to get a robot tail. That's the conclusion of the 2 scenes I read there.
That's what I'm even more upset now that I have the correct context. So
a lot of people in the comments say that what's at the end of his tail is just a hitch to attach things to, and he'll get super power ups. Yeah,
I believe them. I think they're right. That doesn't make this scene good.
The show should have. That's probably true, but that doesn't mean that it was good to not tell us that right away when you introduce it. Yeah,
you don't get 2 shots to reveal a character. That's the point. You have 1 shot to make a reveal, and they botched it.
This is paying off 2 seasons of build up, and they didn't give it to us right away. Yeah, so that would be the complaint.
I'm not going to go through the whole rant again, but I think that even with knowing the dialogue, the exact dialogue that was said now, it's even worse. They should have done.
Okay, Andy's doubling down, you guys. So let us know in the comments what you think of him doubling down on his complaints from last week. Also, a lot of people in the comments saying, I got mad that why did Salem know that Cinder's alive, but not know what's happening with Osmond? A lot of people speculate in the comments that Salem has a connection with all Grimm, and because Cinder has like a Grimm body, a Grimm arm, then she would know the status of her because she has control over Grimm, or knowledge at least of all Grimm. My response is that's a great theory. I probably should have done that in the podcast. Definitely not like a correction, because the show has not told us that Salem has this knowledge of all Grimm. So if they told us that would be good. But I would like for them to have gotten into that. I don't think it's implied either. I feel like that's a stretch, but it is a good
happen
theory.
A lot, because there's just a lot of theories about RWBY, Dylan. Like, there's not really a lot of hard, concrete facts for people to focus on.
I would, in general, when making comments like that, it would be like, oh, have you considered this theory that, ... Not, no, you're wrong because no, you're not right when you have a theory that I haven't thought of. It's just the show hasn't told us, so it's not true or false. It's just speculation.
She said she's alive.
It is a good theory, though. Okay.
Yeah.
Our positive iTunes review of the week. We really appreciate these 5-star ratings to make up for all the previous negativity in our iTunes. Google overly animated RWBY on iTunes. Leave us a review. This week is from 5 stars from Gamer and a bunch of numbers. He says, always enjoyable reviews. Overly Animated does a fantastic job of offering free and open commentary on cartoons like RWBY. Whether you agree or disagree on the opinions of the host, you simply cannot help but enjoy the fun and lively and sometimes hilarious discussion. If you are a listener, if you as a listener enjoy an honest, heartfelt dialogue among friends who enjoy animation, then this is the podcast for you. Thank you, Gamer, for that review.
Thank you, Gamer, a series of numbers.
Thank you.
Yes, there's a lot of numbers. Yes, if you leave us a 5-star review, I will read it on the following week's podcast. So thank you for supporting us with comments, reviews, sharing it, and all of that's very much appreciated. And number one way to support us is via Patreon, especially. So thank you to all our patrons. That's on patreon.com/overlyanimated, especially our patron of the podcast, Rachel, aka Rachel Rose. RWBY nickname for RWBY fan here. That's great. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Hugh. Patron bonus will be participating in our end of year OVAs awards, which are just about to kick off. Last year, Weiss got a Best Character nomination. We'll see if that happens again. We'll see if that happens again this year. Very unlikely to happen again. But if you guys can make it happen if you become patrons and push her through there. So that could happen.
Can there be like Best Redemption 5 seasons in for Salem?
Yeah, we could have a lot of RWBY specific categories.
There could be a category.
Best most improved. A lot of most improved awards I think would go to RWBY. But yeah, I think Weiss for character is the only thing that could happen. But we'll see. RWBY had a standout episode this year, so maybe
Best flashback.
Best flashback, best origin myth. Yes, that RWBY would get nominated for that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, patreon.com/overlyanimated for that, and talk with us on our Discord, overlyanimated.com/discord. Some good RWBY discussion going there as usual. We'll be back next week for no breaks until the last week of December. Looks like is the actual plan that's been outlined. So we know when RWBY's airing. So we'll be back next week for more RWBY discussions. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.